I'll start off with a rhetorical question. What if you could decrease the cost per mile to drive and have more free time? Would you do it? Well, you can. You can both reduce the cost. You can reduce the cost per mile by approximately 80%. And you can do that by driving an electric vehicle, either a coupe, a four-door, or an SUV, whichever you prefer. I'll give you an example. For example, 2 days ago, it cost me 36 cents to add 2.2 kilowatt hours to my car. And I drove 23 miles on that. And while my car was plugged in into a charge point, I was getting my hair cut, so I didn't have to stand by my car to pump gasoline. I was getting my hair cut while my car was having charge added to its power supply or its battery. Okay, how much does it cost in gasoline to travel 23 miles? A lot more than 36 cents. In this video, I will talk about how everyone can save money while driving as much as they want, can save money at the same time while driving as much as they want. And that's by driving on electricity or a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. Note, I did not say driving a hybrid. I didn't just use the generic term hybrid. I said a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. Now, before I go any further, first a definition. A hybrid vehicle is a vehicle that can use two sources of power for propulsion. What I'm going to talk about is gas and electric hybrids, the two sources that they can use as propulsion, either gas or electricity. There are two different types of hybrids. There's a gas hybrid, that is a vehicle that uses a gas engine all of the time. And typically the computer engages the battery under heavy load when accelerating or on highway speed. This is programmed into the vehicle by the manufacturer. It's not driver controlled. To save gas consumption, the gas hybrid, typically the engine on this type of hybrid may be programmed to shut down after you're at a stoplight for some period of time. It will then automatically start when accelerating from a stop. But I think this causes more wear and tear on the engine due to the increased start-stop cycles. The engine drives the wheels just as the conventional gasoline vehicle does. It will always suck gas while you're driving. It must be plugged in to charge the power supply. After the battery or power supply is depleted, it will then basically perform as a regular gasoline vehicle. Typically, you get only about 40 or 50 miles per gallon. Then the other type of hybrid is the plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. A plug-in hybrid electric vehicle is a hybrid electric vehicle whose battery can be charged by plugging into an external power source, that's just like the other one, or by its onboard generator. The engine that is under the hood is a generator. It generates electricity. A good plug-in hybrid electric vehicle will deliver at least 30 miles on a full charge. So you can drive on straight electricity for 30 miles. And that's dependent upon the manufacturer of the vehicle. BMW is one example that I can think of off the top of my head that really sucks at electric vehicles. They have cars that they're calling, it is a hybrid, but it only gets 15 miles on one full charge. And that's not worth the shit to me. The technology is too mature to only give someone 15 miles on a full charge. You're not going to save much money that way at all. Okay, but getting back to the plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. Like I said, a good one will deliver 30 plus miles, at least 30 miles on a full charge. The engine is not required to drive the vehicle. All that is needed is electricity for the electric drive motor, because it's an electric motor that drives the wheels. The vehicle does have an engine to add charge to the power supply and to provide electricity to the motors that drive the wheels as well, if stopping for a charge is not desired or not convenient. And the photograph that you're looking at right now is a photograph of the 2014 Cadillac ELR. That's my Cadillac ELR. Cadillac only made that car, as far as I know, for two years because of disappointing sales. But the Cadillac ELR Cadillac's implementation of the Chevy Volt. Both are GM, basically General Motors sharing the same technology between two different divisions. And that's a good thing. Both hybrid vehicles, the gas hybrid and the plug-in hybrid electric vehicle that I talked about, both will have regenerative braking. Regenerative braking is the drive motor behaving as a generator, or feeding power back into the power supply or battery while the car is in motion. Because the generator and motor need basically the same three ingredients to work, this can happen only when the vehicle is in motion. Okay, and regenerative braking starts to occur when the foot pressure is decreased on the accelerator pedal. It maxes out when the brake is pressed. Typically, you do not have to press your brake to engage regenerative braking. I know the phrase regenerative braking implies you're pressing the brakes because the word braking is there. But what's happening is actually, without getting too technical, what's actually happening is you're placing a load on the motor. The motor is now behaving as a generator, which puts the motor that's driving the wheels is now acting as a generator because and that ends up slowing the car, starting to slow the car down. But it maxes out. Regenerative braking does max out when you put your foot on the brakes. The vehicle's computer dynamically causes the drive motor to act as a generator, or it feeds back power to the power supply. And let's see, there's something else I want to say about regenerative braking. Both types of hybrids use regenerative braking to regain some expended power. The plug-in hybrid electric vehicle regenerative braking is typically much more effective. And now we're going to go to a video that demonstrates regenerative braking in action. Okay, in this video I'm going to demonstrate what an electric powered vehicle can do that a gasoline powered automobile cannot do. And that is feed power back to itself. A gasoline vehicle obviously cannot feed gasoline back into its gas tank. Now what you're looking at right now is a demonstration of my Cadillac ELR, showing the power flow as I drive the vehicle over the road. Other electric vehicles will show the same information, but they're showed in different vehicles showed in different ways, depending upon how the manufacturer wants to display it. You see right now, I'm sucking battery power, and the power flow is flowing from the battery or the power supply into the front engine. The ELR is a front-wheel drive vehicle. And there you see regen power recovery kicked in. That's regenerative braking. Now, regenerative braking in the electric vehicles will kick in slightly depending upon the deflection of your foot on the accelerator. If I take my foot completely off of the accelerator pedal, then regenerative braking will kick in very, very strongly. And it maxes out once I put my foot on the brake. And there you see for a moment I am not sucking any power. No power is flowing. No propulsion power was flowing for a second there. And now I think I stopped back there. And now I'm pulling power from the power supply into the front wheels, or the drive for the front wheels. And this is going to go on periodically throughout this video, because depending upon the terrain and the traffic flow, and if I'm coming around a curve and I need to modulate or regulate my speed a little bit, then I will decrease my angle. I've decreased slightly the pressure that I have on the accelerator pedal, and that helps to regulate the speed to some extent. So regenerative braking is not just pressing on the brake to regenerate power. Regenerative braking it regenerates power because it causes the motor to act as a generator, which places a load on the vehicle and causes it to slow down or brake a little bit to some extent. And that's it. That's a demonstration of what an electric vehicle can do that a gasoline-powered vehicle cannot do. Okay, I'm going to begin to summarize what I've discussed in this particular presentation. But before I get into the summary, I will point out my lifetime miles per gallon in my 2014 Cadillac ELR. The 2014 Cadillac ELR is a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. And you see right now I'm showing 100 over 100 miles per gallon average right next to the word lifetime. And that photograph was taken on August 31st, 2019. You see in the lower right-hand side, August 31st, 2019. My camera puts that on all the photographs I take. Okay, let's go back to another one that was taken earlier that day. Now, I took these two photographs anticipating that I would go over, well, first of all, let me back up. I took this photograph that says 99.7, anticipating I would go over 100 miles within the next 48 hours, and I certainly did. So August 31st, 2019, at 11:07 a.m., I was at 99.7 lifetime miles per gallon average. That's combined city and highway. Most of my driving is done in the city, but I do like to drive long distances every once in a while, just for the heck of it. But getting back into, let me go back to the other photograph. Oops. Okay, now here's the one where I'm over 100 miles per gallon average, lifetime average. That's after driving 38.7 miles that afternoon during the day. At 1:35, I'm now over 100 miles per gallon. I'm assuming that the engineers thought, nobody ever get over 100. So it doesn't show all three digits. I don't know if my average is 101, 102, 103, 105, or whatever. It's at least 100 though, that's all I know. I'm going to ask the dealership where I take my car for service. Periodically, I'll see if the technician can't tell me what my full average is, because they probably have access to that information. But anyway, getting back to the summary, I was talking about hybrids. I talked about two different types of hybrids: the gas hybrid and the plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. The gasoline hybrid, once again, is a vehicle that uses gas engine all the time. And sometimes the computer in the car, depending upon the manufacturer, how they program it, the computer in the car will have the battery assisted engine, the gasoline engine, when you're accelerating under heavy load or when you're at highway speeds. Not the manufacturer of the vehicle determines that. And they can in fact sell that kind of car as a hybrid, because it does have two sources of energy, two sources of propulsion power. It can use gas and it can use electricity. So it is, technically speaking, it is in fact a hybrid because it has two sources of power, gasoline and electricity. That was the gas hybrid. Now the plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, such as the Chevy Volt and the Cadillac ELR, and the Ford Fusion, by the way. The Ford Fusion Energy. It's a hybrid electric vehicle whose battery can be charged by plugging it in, which you can do with the other one. But it also has an engine that can be used to add power to the power supply or battery. The engine basically is a generator to generate electricity. The engine doesn't drive the wheels like it does in a regular gasoline powered vehicle. It generates electricity if they implement it correctly. The good plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, like I say, will deliver at least 30 miles on one full charge. The technology for the plug-in electric hybrid vehicle is too mature to not deliver at least 30 miles on one full charge. BMW sucks at delivering a decent range on electric on one charge. And that's about it. Oh, the other important thing that I wanted to cover was, in summary, if you remember, if you will retain most of what I've talked about in this video, then you will know more than a lot of the car salesmen at the high volume dealerships. When I say high volume dealerships, those are dealerships that are trying to sell as many cars to as many people as they possibly can, as many times as they can. And typically that is, in my opinion, Toyota or Honda. So you're going to know a lot more than a lot of the average salesperson at the high volume dealerships know compared when it comes to hybrid vehicles. A lot of them, when they see a hybrid car, all they know is it's a hybrid. They're not sure how it works or what's going on under the hood. In other words, they just don't know their product. But thank you for listening.